we go to Luke 16. And since we're already in 2 Kings 17, just stay there. We're not going to go over to Luke, but write it in your notes to read it. It's the rich man and Lazarus. And the reason that is such an awesome parable is not so much for the truth, it's communicating about how to serve God with money, which is powerful. But what I like about that parable is it says when both these men die, it mentions, body parts. In other words, Lazarus and the rich man both die. The rich man goes to hell. Lazarus goes to Abraham's bosom, to wait for Christ's redemption, to go to heaven. And yet it says, the rich man, when he's in hell, he lifts up his eyes. And then he says, oh, Abraham, send Lazarus, to dip the tip of his finger in water to cool my tongue, because I'm in torments in this flame. So, well, that's odd. Lazarus and the rich man, they're both dead, which means their body is still up on earth in the grave. And who they are, of course, every man, woman, and child ever born is a spirit that's going to live forever somewhere, either in heaven or hell. And, so these guys' spirits, are in either paradise or hell. And yet it says that they have tongues, they have tips of fingers, they have eyes, and of course they have emotions, because the rich man was in torments. So what does that tell you? It tells you that your spirit, right now inside your body, just like you have natural eyes, well, inside those eyes are spiritual eyes. If I stepped out of my body right now, and stood right next to myself, you would see somebody that looks just like my body. And listen, the difference might be that my spiritual self has hair where you don't see it in my natural head. Hallelujah. But I certainly believe I have a full head of hair. I believe in healing for that. Hallelujah. But the point being is you would see my spiritual, who I am as a spirit, separate from my body, is just like my body. And then if my spirit goes back into my body, my spiritual eyes go into my natural eyes, my spiritual finger goes into my natural finger, my spiritual emotions go back into my natural emotions. So listen, this is why we walk by faith, because you could be walking around as a Christian saying, gosh, there's no peace, I'm depressed all the time. Well, that's because that's your natural emotions. You still have a body from Adam. This body is not accepted before God, because God cannot at this point change it into the glorified body. Because remember, when Jesus walked on the earth, now I'm not saying bodies are bad, they're not bad, but you can't let them rule and reign, because Jesus had the same kind of body you and I have when he walked on this earth. It was born of Mary. He was tempted every bit like as we are. One example I heard, which was really good, remember when the woman was washing Jesus's feet and then dried them with her hair. Listen, speaking to all you guys out there, any guy out there would know, okay, this could easily be received in a sexual way. You could receive a sexual temptation through that. Do you think Jesus was any different? No, but what did he do? He knew that temptation was there. He kept it under. Just because you're tempted doesn't mean you do it. So he had a natural body just like we do. It's not yet glorified. It's not from God. But if you're born again, your spirit is. So inside your spirit, you at the new birth were given the fruits of the Spirit. Galatians 5, love, joy, peace, long-suffering, temperance, meekness, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness. I hope I got all 9 in there. Might have just reached 8. But you get what I'm saying. So you have that peace on the inside. So if you're walking around depressed all the time, it's because you're living out of your natural soul, those natural emotions. But listen, by faith, the word says that you have peace. So if you believe that, confess that, if you want. spend 30 minutes a night. Maybe you like to watch your favorite TV program at 8. Well, say at 7:30, you know what? I'm gonna call myself peaceful for 30 minutes. I'm gonna say the fruit of the Spirit is peace, and I have peace. And find other verses that speak to having peace. And for 30 minutes, I'm gonna say I have peace. Listen, you're gonna notice a change. That this stuff works. And then, of course, worship, getting into the presence of God. He's going to begin to minister in your spirit, and that's just going to accumulate and accumulate, and you're going to walk in more peace from that. So listen, this is a wonderful life